Hello. For my assignment, I chose a subsection labeled People Behind the Science, and it is about Matthias Jacob Schleiden and Theodor Schwann. This is on page 470. This portion of the text talks about two scientists who are best known for establishing cell theory. The one that I felt like I understood the most about was Theodor Schwann, and he is responsible for coining the term metabolism, which is to denote the chemical changes that occur in the living tissue. I chose this portion of the text because it seemed equally as challenging as comprehensible. Like, I'm not totally sure I understand everything it's talking about, but I think I could confidently make this video and get enough of the points across. Basically, like I mentioned before, it talks about two scientists, one who coined the term metabolism, and it talks about the type of work they did and the research of aspects of the cells that they went through. And for example, Schleiden recognized the importance of the nucleus in the cell division. In addition to that, he noted the active movement of intracellular material in plant tissues. And Theodor Schwann began to investigate digestive processes, and 2 years later isolated a chemical response for protein digestion, which he called pepsin. And he talks about enzymes and their different research methods and stuff like that. Basically, it comes together to conclude that all organisms consist entirely of cells or products of cells, and that the life of each individual cell is secondary to that of the whole organism, which was the main point of the section of text that I read. I felt like the portion of text that, or the ideas that this portion of the text wanted us to remember was what exactly goes into making a cell, which is like, not goes into making a cell, but things that they figured out and ran into when conducting their research. The only two italicized words in the entire thing was enzyme and metabolism. So I have to assume those two were very important in their research. Examples or specifics that were important for helping me remember these ideas and concepts, I think, was at the end. I mentioned it earlier, but at the end of the text, there's a summary that basically sums up and says that all organisms consist entirely of cells or products of cells, and each individual cell, the life of it is secondary to that of the whole organism. I felt like, since it was at the end and it was in such simple terms, that I felt like that was the main point that I was supposed to take home and internalize. This reading changed what I knew, because honestly, I didn't know very much about cells beforehand. To be honest, it was one of those things I had just assumed. Like, I had already known, we had already learned about him. I didn't remember specifically learning about the people who understood and first articulated the ideas of cells until now. And this is going to impact the way that I think, because like I said before, I just didn't think about it very much, and now I know exactly who's responsible. And this text gave us students a very clear roadmap of how these scientists conducted their research and what they learned and everything. That's it. Thank you.